Yeah, all right, so we're here for the podcast. We're watching The Bear, Season 3, Episode 1, with a chef. Give us a little introduction to yourself while this is getting going.
Hell yeah. My name's Kaleb Schnell. I'm the chef of Hermit's food truck. Right now, parked right outside of the night drop. Just doing late night food for Syracuse industry folk, mostly is our focus. We're trying to feed the people once they get out of cooking. But also just late night food.
Yeah. I've been down there, and it's great.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we've been messing around with like secret menu stuff too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just trying to. I mean, we don't carry a lot of stuff on the truck, which is there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And then we take those things and throw them around, kind of.
That's cool.
Little hush hush.
Yeah.
Hush hush fries with cheese and throw a burger on top of it.
Nice.
Just for fun.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about that more. So,
cool.
Anybody who's watching the podcast with us or listening to the podcast and you want to watch, it's The Bear, Season 3, Episode 1, and we are getting started. Let me go backwards. And are we starting? That's the only, yeah, there we go. All right, so we're at 43, 44, 45, 46. Here we go. It is funny how this guy's become like a model and like all over Times Square in just his underwear now.
Oh, dude, yeah, the yes, there's like memes now of him in the Calvin Klein ad, and it's like, yes, chef is the picture. Dude, so good. Oh, I don't remember that. I definitely have cut my hand like exactly in that spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some chef was like, you can get out of here early if you set up stocks, and you know what I mean? And I couldn't get the can open. Cut my hand. Went right to the ER.
I get shit because there's this restaurant in Buffalo called The Pink.
Okay.
And it just burned. It's not a restaurant. It's a bar that has a flat top right behind the bar.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's on their menu, but I know there was some steak sandwich that like everybody in Buffalo would go and have.
Yeah.
And my last trip out there, I did like 5 places I'm eating in Buffalo. Everybody was like, you got to go to The Pink and get the steak sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody tells me that you're not supposed to go there before like 10 p.m.
Okay.
So I go at noon when they open.
Yeah.
And a few people like on my way there, they were like, what the fuck are you going there in the daylight for? It was like the quintessential shitty dive bar.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was told walking in there, if you're going there this time of day, they may just tell you they're not fucking cooking food.
Yeah.
And to fuck off.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I go there. We sit at the bar with a friend. It reeks of piss all over the place. My friend is like, who lives in Buffalo, whatever. We order the steak sandwich. The bartender's like, all right, cool, we'll get out in a minute.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes later, the cook walks over to us with like blood dripping down his finger.
Yeah.
He had cut himself.
He comes over to you.
And he's like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't cook anything.
Yeah.
So that was my experience with The Pink. And then like a month later, it just burned to the ground.
Ah, man.
And people keep commenting on that Instagram post like, you did this.
Dude, I do love, like I remember in the last season when they finally showed the dining room of the kitchen, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's cool.
Yeah. It is interesting, even me watching some of this stuff, and I'm thinking like, those are cool ways to do it. The service, like just like that right there, like the server station, like that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I love the equal parts open kitchen, and you don't. Your conversations are still private. You know what I mean? Like you can talk to your people, but also be seen. When I was working at Husk, it was very open.
Yeah.
To the point where, you're working a brunch service and you're getting your ass handed to you, and somebody comes up and is like, what type of wood are you using on your grill? And it's like, dog, this isn't interactive, I'm working right now.
I did when Del Lago Casino first opened, they invited us out to Portico for their like like opening night.
Yeah.
And the celebrity chef Fabio Viviani was out there for that.
Yeah.
I took my dad with me. We had a great dinner.
Yeah.
Chef Don Agate or Agate. Don, if you're listening, you can tell me how to correctly pronounce your name. Him and his wife now own Good Eats and Sips out in Skinny Atlas.
Cool.
But Don was the chef at Delago at the time, and as we're leaving, my dad, who's an industry guy, asked the GM, "Is there any way I can see the kitchen?" And it's not an open concept.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "Dad, it's opening fucking night. They're slammed. We don't want to walk in the kitchen."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Yeah, we'll give you a tour." And we walked back in the kitchen, and the GM's like, "Chef, this is Anthony and Robert. They're gonna take a tour." And Don just gave us this look like, "What the fuck are you doing in my kitchen right now?"
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have Alinea, when you do a tour,
Yeah.
they're like, everybody says, "Yes, chef," at the same time. When you walk in, everybody's like, we were trying to kind of pull that off when we would do tours at a restaurant I was working at called Castagna in Portland. I mean, it was tiny crew, 5 people. It really wasn't that big of a kitchen for fine dining. But yeah, it is. I mean, I like a balance between it where you can invite people to come back and hang out because that is an experience for diners to be cool enough. Oh, hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
that's funny. But yeah, at the same time, it's your safe space for a lot of cooks are they're not super social.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah,
at the same time, I get that too.
And definitely, I mean, a fine dining restaurant or a nicer upscale restaurant, you don't usually see too much shit going on.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I've never been into like a real fine dining kitchen before, but even like the Krebs back in the day, which was like far higher than its quality than it is today.
Yeah.
Even that was like, you walk in there and it's pristine.
Totally.
And that, but most restaurants in our area, they're hiding shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's something going on, and you don't want to go in the back. They don't want you to see that just because.
Wait, is that Joel McHale?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. So they're gonna go from what's his name? Is it Balud?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a
Joel McHale.
This episode's got a lot of them. It's pretty interesting.
That's cool. I do love him as an actor. I always see the soup guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is funny how militant, like,
100%.
But it doesn't feel like there's much, like, formal, like, there isn't, and, like, fine dining, I mean, from limited knowledge, from, like, secondhand knowledge that I have of it.
Yeah.
And then also things like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's a formal book. They're not handed like a manual that's like, just this is how we do things.
Yeah.
It's not like you go through basic training. Like you get tossed into the fire.
100%. I mean, I do think that at this point, I'm at the point where it's like, toss me into the fire. Put me in a Saturday service in the weeds. I have to bury somebody out of the weeds on a section.
Yeah. So
that I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Forever. You know what I mean? I'll never not be able to do that ever again. I like that they're showing him fixing the walk-in door and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I didn't know I was taking on by being a restaurant owner. You know what I mean? Or being a business owner.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was taking on learning how to put a hot water heater into a truck. You know what I mean? So that's so true. You're everything.
Yeah. How do you balance? I mean, this is your first venture into restaurant ownership of some sort?
Yeah, this is.
Has it been a shock? What's been the most shocking? Is it just that of like fuck, now I have to know how to do mechanics?
I think the time frame, I've worked at, you get out late in restaurants, but I haven't worked at a place where I got out, past midnight in a while.
Yeah.
So going back to that, the time frame is definitely something that like my sleep schedule has shifted.
Yeah.
So we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Sunday, Monday being the days that most restaurants around here are closed down.
Yeah.
So that people on their days off can come hang out. But Sunday, when I get on the truck, I'm the most tired I've ever been in my life. And for some reason, I think it's because my brain is so like, your day's off for Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm working those days now, that those are like extremely exhausting for me.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, we crushed Sunday, Monday this week.
That's awesome.
Because, but there's just like, for some reason, I feel like post-COVID in this area, people are really sticking to I'm going to be closed those 2 days.
For sure.
And I understand it.
Especially some of the nicer spots.
Hey, Renee, what's up?
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, they do a lot of, whatever the term is, appearances in this season of these chefs.
It was cool. I watched, so one of my favorite cooking shows of all time is Mind of a Chef, the PBS series. It was just like, it was a Bourdain thing. He really got filming at that point. Like, I think he had been a couple seasons into No Reservations at that point and started up with Dave Chang. In the episode where David Chang goes to Copenhagen to hang out with Rene Redzepi is so good. He's so well spoken. He really thinks about the things that he's like doing. You can tell he's like a good mad scientist.
Yeah. I don't know who's replaced Bourdain's voice when it comes to food.
Can you replace him? Can you replace the I don't know. I mean, I think it's that's a good question. I have to think about it.
I don't think anybody has.
Yeah. Everybody's stayed kind of in their lane past his death, and I don't think anybody's really tried to take that on as much. And maybe it's just a respect thing of I don't think anybody can do it the same way. But we'll start to see the people who they were inspired by him start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we're like five years away from finding the next Bourdain, because he did inspire a lot of people. I remember reading the intro to Kitchen Confidential and being like, I think I want to go to culinary school.
I love the story. I don't know if you knew Alex and Fiaki and Lauren from Amano.
Okay.
They were my favorite in Syracuse, maybe ever.
Cool.
And they just recently moved down to the Carolinas, like late last year.
Okay.
But Alex went to CIA.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex. I think they both went to CIA.
Yeah.
And did they go to CIA or did he go to? No, I'm pretty confident he went to CIA. Anyways,
Okay.
He was working in restaurants, and Noah, his younger brother, called him and was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about going to like the culinary program up at OCC and getting into the industry."
Yeah.
And their dad is like OG hospitality in restaurants in Syracuse.
Yeah.
And Alex, like the story goes, he like got off of a late shift at one of the restaurants and called his brother and was like, "You are a fucking idiot. Don't fucking do this. It's the worst thing you'll ever do with your life."
Yeah.
Is getting into this industry.
Yeah. I think all of us have that constant battle of like,
Yeah.
I love it, I hate it, I love it, I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's such a tiny thing that can either persuade you in either direction.
Yeah.
Of, you know, like you get one snide comment from a customer that ruins the entire night.
Yeah.
Or you walk out into the dining room to go talk to your bartender and you get 5 minutes with a customer being like, oh yeah, that's local duck that you're having that's around the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I live right next to where this duck was raised. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you get that moment of teaching where it's just like, that's the reason you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
There is this weird, I mean, I can even think like a year and a half ago, I started, you know, I had the ghost kitchen, which I wasn't really doing a fuck ton with. Like I wasn't like up there actively working it, but I would be up there like a few hours a week.
Yeah.
The cook, the GM of the Limp Lizard quit.
Okay.
We all had a meeting like, all right, what do we do next? And I was like, I'll step in and do it. Like I know how to smoke, I know how to do barbecue. I've done smokers before.
Yeah.
At home and for work and whatever. So I was like, I've got a lot of ideas. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Took the job managing that restaurant. We hired a great line cook. But anyways, took the job managing the restaurant, having my business, doing marketing, doing the eat local shit. And my wife and our son was like 2 months old when I did it. And like,
it always stacks on, right?
yes. And so like this like weird space of exhilaration, excitement, fun on like being on the line on like a busy night.
Yeah.
And cooking a shit ton of food for people. Somebody comes in, knows you, hey, how's it going? And then also the simultaneous realization that like, fuck, I'm missing my son.
Yeah.
Like, my son isn't home.
Yeah.
My wife has put him to bed. I'm not going to see him tonight.
Yeah.
Like those two things are like really strange for being in this industry.
For sure. No, my dad worked for Levi Strauss when I was young, so definitely just like he had climbed the corporate ladder. He was doing great business-wise.
Yeah.
And he, you know, has his regrets of doing that stuff too. And it's funny to me hearing you're so young starting a business. And
right.
It's like, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let's get these crazy first 5 years out of the way before.
Yeah. Exactly.
Marriage, kids, all that things kind of happen. Because it is. It's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I guess I think that sometimes we don't think about it all the time. You know what I mean? Until you're past the point, and it's kind of like, shit, I got to juggle all these balls at one time.
Right. It is an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, for sure. Extremely satisfying at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't not do it, I guess. I got a buddy who he wants to do more of like a game company. And I was like, dude, owning a business is so satisfying, so great.
There are definitely a lot of parts of it that I love. And then there's also parts where it's like, fuck, why am I putting myself through this? Like,
because you're doing it to
right.
yourself.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You got this? Yes, chef. Are you sure? Yes, chef. Do you need me to finish it for you? No, chef. 5 more seconds on these always, chef.
So that is supposed to be Grant. Essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant also makes an appearance, but
Yeah.
that restaurant that he's at with her is supposed to be Alinea. It's because it's just kind of strange. Like everything looks like Alinea, feels like, unless like she is just, no, she is playing the role of the owner later on. But yeah, it's kind of strange how like they have that set up. But yeah, she is essentially Alinea in this season.
Yeah, I really love the moment where in the second season, I think his cousin, I think talks to the owner for a second there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you watch it, I don't think there's much sound. It's this bliss moment of like, you get to kind of share a second with this great mind.
Yeah.
And when I worked for Sean, I definitely had multiple moments where you're just like, I need to shut up and pay attention to all, you know what I mean? Like be the sponge and soak it all up. Because when you get those moments with those chefs, you learn so much so quickly just by little tiny things.
Yeah. Oh, is the world of staging as simple still today as it sounds like it used to be? Like, in other words, of like trying to get into a place?
I mean, I feel like I've always staged at every place that I've worked. And I do it for me most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go through a service. I want to see, do I want to work here kind of before I start. Most of the time, I would say every time I've staged, I've ended up working at the restaurant that I stage at. There was a big, like 2014, I think, Lumi Island got in huge trouble for the unpaid internship that was kind of happening.
Yeah.
And so I was working at Husk at the time, and we were big restaurant. People were definitely like coming from all across the country at least to come work for that restaurant at that time. And they started paying all of their stages. Like it became like this is industry standard is we have to start paying for these stages. Which, so with that being said, I think there was for Lumi Island, it was like you were going weeks, you were going months sometimes, like, and that was how you got into the restaurant, was you worked for free for 3 months and then you can start getting paid, which is that's not cool. That's not cool.
And it's not like you were getting paid a lot.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, the last fine dining place I was working, I think I was making $500 a week.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pre-COVID, so, you know, a little different, but still.
Yeah, still it's nothing.
Yeah. It's not really that much money. So, yeah, I mean, I think that staging it's just a personal thing, I think. If you feel like you need to go and make sure that that's the restaurant you want to work at, it's kind of not that big of a problem to be like, hey, I'll hang out for a day. You don't got to pay me. And I'll tell you. And a lot of the times, I think what's really cool about restaurants is you can stage for a day and then go in and eat the next day. And you get the biggest hookup that you've ever had ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's that trading goods and services for goods and services. But yeah, I would definitely, if anybody was like, you got to stage for a week, I would be like, fuck you. No. I mean, yeah, at the same time, I think that I've been pretty good through my career of being like, pay me. You know what I mean? I definitely have that stance still.
Not so much. You're now a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
I had a business partner last year, and for like 6 months, and you know, it was funny, just like the realization that like she had of, I hope she had, of just like there would be weeks in the business where it's like, all right, you're gonna get paid, but I'm not gonna get paid, and I'd be like, and I'd tell her, I would like share that information with her. I'd be like, it's just cash flow. Like we have to wait for X, Y, and Z so we can. I was like, so I'm just letting you know I'm not taking a paycheck this week. And she would always be like, well, then we need to like, what do we need to do? Like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. It's like, this is just how it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, there's a number of years in the beginning that you have to build up. You know,
it
doesn't. I don't really care how great the idea is. You're not going to just start making a shit ton of money overnight.
For sure. No, the people that I pay them at $20 an hour because I feel like that's the fair price to do. You know what I mean? To pay them. And after 1 month of starting up the food truck, I've paid myself once. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I guess if you don't like care about something enough to not sacrifice a little bit of yourself for it,
for sure.
then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah. There's going to be a sacrifice somewhere. I mean, my wife
Yeah.
and I talk about that a lot as our son's getting older. It's like, it's like, all right, you know, like we're in our mid to late 30s. So
Yeah.
it's like you're thinking about, all right, I could go get a job at a company doing what I do for myself.
Yeah.
A lot less effort
Yeah, for sure.
and a lot more money,
Yep.
but you're still going to sacrifice something, you know?
I think I have, well, Johnson & Wales, so I went to Johnson & Wales, and Wegmans was huge on pursuing people that are Johnson & Wales graduates.
Oh, really?
So I have a lot of friends who are up there in Wegmans. I have a buddy who was sent to Japan to learn sushi for their sushi program. And I think about it all the time. You know what I mean? I definitely am like, I could just go the easy route.
Yeah.
I could have, 2 houses.
Yeah.
I could, I could do.
Yeah.
But whatever. I feel great and I feel like I'm doing good. So
Yeah.
until it becomes, I guess, a bigger problem.
Yeah. I just had these 2 brothers on the podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
They are identical twins. They own a Mexican restaurant, Latin American restaurant, and mezcal and tequila bar in Ithaca.
Cool.
I've had the restaurant for 6 years,
Okay.
6 or 8 years, and we were just talking a lot about, I had a great conversation with them, but you could kind of tell it was like, I wonder if this is the first or one of the few times they've had really honest conversations about their restaurant and like the industry with somebody.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we were just talking about is like the success of a restaurant is really based on your perception of what your success is. There's some people who open a restaurant, it's like, fuck, I bet I need to be doing $2 million a year in sales.
Yeah.
And that's successful, but it's only ever going to be $250,000 or $750,000 restaurant. And that's okay. Like, it's understanding what your success level is and kind of managing that. I think goes a long way in mental health in terms of owners and restaurants.
Oh, why'd they cut away? Because his mohawk it had a tip to it. I think they probably had to replate it.
That's pretty funny. I want you see movies like Chef, where Favreau like did culinary school to a certain extent, hung out with Roy Choi a bunch.
Yeah. Was Roy Choi's basically like number 2 man for probably 3 months or something for filming? Yeah, for sure. Like spent some time on it.
But I wonder how much. I mean, you've got Matty Matheson on this, but I wonder how much.
He got sent to, because there's like, I've just seen the meme pictures of him at French Laundry, like in the French Laundry. And they do the same thing, like what you're talking about with Alinea, where they make it look like he's at French Laundry, like he's in the white with the blue apron, that's very specifically them. Yeah. Or he's rocking the gray t-shirt with the blue apron, which is very specifically Noma.
Yeah.
They do a good job of kind of dropping those hints for us, I feel like, in this show.
There's some scenes in some of the upcoming episodes where he's having these really intimate conversations with these real chefs, and I was wondering, like, I wonder how much of this was they just brought a camera in while he was like training with them. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't so much because like the chef, there's one with Thomas Keller. Okay. Kind of detailed scene. I'm like, man, either Thomas Keller is an incredible actor. Yeah. Or this is a behind the scenes shot that wound up making it to the final. Yeah.
It's very I mean, I listened to one of his podcasts where he was kind of talking about the farm to table scene and how he, like, what he agrees with and what he doesn't agree with. And he was talking about, like, if you can get a superior product from, across the country or from across the world, why would you not get it?
Yeah.
Which they're very lucky in the backers that back the French Laundry. They
Yeah.
probably have a plane that flies
Yeah.
to and from for them. But I get it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I was on the West Coast, I fucking love East Coast oysters. They're salty, they're briny. And so if I was on the West Coast and I saw that they had East Coast oysters, I'd be like, I
Yeah.
will take half a dozen of those
Right.
right fucking now. You know what I mean? Like I get pumped whenever I see Northeast New England oysters on anybody's menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love the Syracuse's underbelly just all mingles together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is so refreshing to be in a city where at least the whole art community, for the most part, like they see each other, they know each other,
Yeah.
which is very cool. I mean, we're not that big of a city anyway,
No.
so
Right.
you,
Yeah.
you go to Limericks once and you know everybody.
Yeah.
At least that's how it feels.
I've never been in there.
To Limericks?
Uh-uh.
It's like a big pool part of town. I was trying to work out something with them to open their kitchen back up. Because I feel like a late night thing out of Limericks would be
Yeah.
tight, especially with pastas right there and
Yeah.
you know, all those people getting out of work.
Our late night scene is interesting here because we don't really have much of one. Mm-hmm. There's a few places that are open that have it, but not a lot at all.
I would always hit Blarney. That was my spot after when I was working at Aird. Go hit Blarney because one of my very good friends, the guy we're doing the pop-up with on the 4th, Josiah Bacon, he lives right around the corner.
Okay.
And yeah, always a Blarney burger. If
Yeah.
we could, we would call, just ahead because at 10 they stopped doing wings.
Yeah.
But if we can be like, hey, have an order of wings for me. I'll be there. I'll pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
that was our spot for sure. Now there's Deli over Cuse.
Yeah.
So right across from XO
XO.
there.
Yeah. Is
They're
that
open
good?
till 2.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. They're great for being open till 2.
Yeah.
Like they have a solid burger. I've really enjoyed the stuff that I've had there.
That's
when
cool.
I go there.
I haven't been yet. I know they've been open for a bit, but yeah.
I was thinking about that space. I just didn't want to put $50,000 into a hood vent.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for them, and I'm glad that they renovated that space.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a hot spot for sure.
It should be. For Tim had opened up his second tap room, like his tap room location,
Yeah.
just up the block from there, and
Yeah.
it never took off. I think there's a variety of reasons, but
Yeah.
and obviously a tap room for a brewery and a deli like that are two different things.
Yeah.
But and good. I hope they work out because the other couple places that have been in there haven't done well at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it was like an art space or something like that right before,
Oh, okay.
I think.
There was another like sort of deli spot in there. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
And then Cafe Kubal was actually in that space.
Okay, yep.
And I think they had like the fastest exit of any coffee shop in Syracuse history because they were there. A lot of coffee shops in Syracuse have fallen for, not a lot, 2 or 3 have fallen for we're in the lobby of an apartment building. Of course we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
And they haven't been.
That's funny because Portland, I lived in Portland, Oregon for a little bit. That concept is huge.
Yeah.
There. Like, you have to exit through the coffee shop.
Right.
It's yeah.
These are the interesting parts for me and like restaurants, the people that do it, where it's
Yeah.
like hours for R&D.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I love the... that was cool. That was a
Yeah.
good episode.
That was.